All right, fellas. So, topic at hand. Nikola Jokic going for his third MVP. Can he get it done? Three-peat. First person to do it since Larry Bird a long, long time ago. And it's looking like he's going to get it done. I got to say, I think he is the front runner right now. Some people might have Giannis. Some people might have Embiid or Tatum. Some other players. And I'm looking at it like I think this man is really going to three-peat and get this MVP award. And the main reason that we got to talk about it is because there's a question as to whether it's deserved or it's a narrative. And I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a narrative, but I 100% wholeheartedly think that he deserves to be the MVP. Recently, this was a trending topic that he's a stat padder. I don't know where this came from. It was on ESPN and just multiple media outlets, and I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could call a super unathletic center with the best record in the West a stat padder. It's not like he's doing it on a losing effort. For example, let me show you guys the box score from tonight. So they played, obviously, a really bad Houston Rockets team, but they're on the road. And my man gets a super efficient triple-double. 14 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds on 7 for 11 shooting. He only missed 4 shots. He wasn't going to the free throw line like, Joel Embiid, the free throw merchant. He just got his little 14, 10 assists, 11 rebounds. That's still a monster night at the box office. And he did it in 28 minutes. So he gave you those stats in only 28 minutes. Granted, it's the Houston Rockets. But if he was stat padding, wouldn't he go for like 30 points if he really wanted to? Get a couple more assists? So I don't think he's stat padding. You see the efficiency. The efficiency tells the story. It's not like he's shooting a bad percentage. How can you be a stat padder when you're doing it in such an efficient way? Again, I think the best point that I could point out is the fact that they have the number 1 record in the West, a really tough Western Conference, and they are the top team. Now, if you want to say, well, he hasn't gotten to the finals, he hasn't won a championship. Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, that's the truth, but it's a regular season award. If we're going to change the narrative, okay, fine, we could change the narrative, but that's not what the MVP award is. It's for who's the most valuable player for their franchise, for a team in the league. And I think that's going to be the Joker. I think, once again, 3 years in a row, he is the player with the most value for his one team. Now, you can make the argument that Luka is that guy, but the Mavericks have been losing games as of late. The Mavericks are not the top team in the West. You can make that argument for Giannis, but here's my thing when it comes to Giannis. If Giannis Antetokounmpo misses games, the Bucks are more than capable. More capable than the Nuggets of winning games. If Nikola misses games for the Nuggets, that team is not performing at the level that the Bucks are going to perform. And that's just the truth. You can look at the pieces that the Nuggets got and make an argument that, yeah, they're still a really good team. And I agree, but it's not the same. Jokic being in the lineup is like a well-oiled machine, and the Nuggets just go. He is the system. He is the offense. Someone like Giannis, though, he does get it done at both ends of the floor. But I feel like when Giannis goes out, they don't lose a step. The Bucks don't really lose a step. They don't fall behind. They don't really blow leads. All right, guys, so I'm on the NBA app here, and I'm looking at the rankings, and he is currently the front runner. He is number 1 for the MVP race. He is leading all candidates. He's averaging 25.2 points per game, 10.7 rebounds per game with 9.5 assists per game. So essentially, this man is averaging a triple-double on 25 points per game. And it's just hard to argue, guys. It's hard to argue that a guy putting up those stats and having the best record in the West is not the MVP. How do you not give that guy the MVP? I guess the way you go about that is by literally making it a narrative and turning it into, well, let's give someone else a chance. Really, that's the only way I think he doesn't get the MVP. Is if, as a collective, the people who get the votes decide, well, let's give somebody else a nod. Let's give somebody else a chance. Let's switch it up. Let's make someone else happy. Really, that's how it feels. I do think he is head and shoulders above everyone right now. I also looked at the sports betting websites, and he is by far the favorite. Like, he is a minus like 350 right now. So yeah, man, it's looking like he's gonna get a three-peat. I gotta be honest, I never saw this coming years ago, and the dude obviously had talent, but I never thought I'd be sitting here making a video about Nikola Jokic becoming a 3-time back-to-back three-peat MVP. Like, just know. And this is a guy that doesn't even care about making the All-Star game or being there. I'm sure he cares about making the All-Star game, but he doesn't even care about playing it. I mean, he went ahead and said so after the All-Star game. So just think about how special this dude is. All he cares about is competing for his actual home team and getting the job done. And I know more than anything, he wants a championship because that's clearly the goal. But we got to kind of ignore that in a way when it comes to the MVP, because that's not something we take into consideration. For people bringing up the fact that he's not a champion and that he always comes up short, I agree. Yes, that's the truth, but it's not a part of the requirement to be the MVP of the regular season. It's not, oh, is he the finals MVP? No, it's who's the regular season MVP. And 100% it's the Joker. I low-key want to dive into where he ranks all time in the centers list, and I'm not going to do that on this video because, you know, that's something I got to take more time and really look at. But just think about where he is if he ultimately does win a championship, and he is a 3-peat MVP at the center position, averaging a triple-double in this era. That's special. That is special. But I do have to admit, all-time centers tend to have a championship or multiple championships. That's really like the rule. Even the power forwards. So I think at some point, if he really does want to move up in that all-time rankings list at the center position, he is going to have to get that championship. And it'll validate who he is, because the numbers are going to speak for themselves. The accolades, the personal accolades are going to speak for themselves. But he is going to need to get that team success. And we know if they win a championship, we know who's going to be front and center leading the team. It's going to be him. With all of that said, how would you feel if he does win it? If Joker gets 3 MVPs back to back, he's not a champion, although the numbers say, hey, he is the MVP. How would you feel? What are your thoughts? In my personal opinion, it does not bother me. I fully understand that the MVP award is a regular season award. It doesn't mean you're the best player in the world. No one's ever said that, by the way. No one's ever claimed that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. That is not the statement we're making when he's winning these MVP awards. Keep that in mind. You know, there's a big difference about who's the best player in the world or in the NBA and who's the MVP. When Steve Nash was winning MVPs, he wasn't the best player in the world. Not even close. Kobe Bryant was, and Kobe wasn't getting those MVPs. So just want to say that. Just keep in mind that the MVP is a narrative-driven award, and there's other things that play a part on why you get that award. Team success. That's why Steve Nash did get those MVPs. So if he gets a 3-peat, I won't be surprised. It's not a shocker. He is currently the leading candidate, and he is the favorite in the sports books. Drop a like on the video, man. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Planning on uploading way more videos throughout the playoffs coming up and throughout, you know, the last couple of games here as the NBA is coming down on its final stretch. Catch you guys on the next one. Let's get it.